It's DK back at you in another video here for the NBA main slate here on Monday. So we got a decent sized slate today. First, though, real quick, let's see what we did last night. So last night, or early in the day, I entered the early only. I did very well on that, and then the late slate, I still cashed even with a Nurkic injury. But the main slate, I also had Nurkic, and yeah, that was just pretty unfortunate that he got injured because the lineup was looking pretty good here. The main lineup had Rubio, Ingles, JaMychal Green, Montrez, Embiid, Bogdanovic, Miles Bridges, and Nurkic. So really, I got onto Rubio and Ingles once Donovan Mitchell was out. I like Jay Crowder a lot. I played him in my late lineup, but really thought you needed a couple of these Utah Jazz guys. JaMychal Green, not terrible for his salary. He just he got limited. I mean, his minutes are just. The Grizzlies are a mess with their minutes. He got 33 last game, then got 19 this game. And it was, Jaren Jackson Jr., who was the most inconsistent player in the league. He had a pretty good game, so that kind of limited JaMychal Green. Montrez, again, good for his salary. He just keeps producing for me night in, night out. First night I played Embiid, not bad for 10-9. Bogdanovic, he was just too cheap. And his bad game last game got some people off him. And then Bridges, that was just a salary play. I needed someone really cheap. And obviously Nurkic, he had 21.5 at half. He's on pace for over 40, and he got injured. So injuries again, very, very frustrating. But, it was a weird night. I kept it really light. I only did tournaments because there's just too many inconsistent players, inconsistent teams. I didn't like the slate. It's never a bad idea if you're not confident to kind of go light or just take the night off. All right, let's start at point guard today. So we got a lot of injury news that is still up in the air. So again, this is going to be another slate. We're going to kind of have to wait till the last minute to decide on some things. So we got Harden at the top here at 11-4. He's been in great form here over the last few games. And I love the matchup against Washington. Definitely considering him as my spend-up star of the day. I think if Chris Paul gets ruled out, then I think Harden will become the absolute chalk. And I don't think I could fade him. With no Chris Paul. I think I would go to Harden and probably to Eric Gordon as well, even though I faded him last time with Chris Paul out. He's just going to play too many minutes. So I think if Chris Paul's out, the direct pivot is to plug and play Harden and Eric Gordon. If Chris Paul does play, I think the salary is pretty good for Chris Paul himself at 8K. And I love targeting teams against Washington, or I love targeting players against Washington, so I do think Chris Paul, if he plays, is not a bad play there. Kemba at 9-4. He's been crazy, but I don't think I want to pay this much for Kemba on this slate, especially against Milwaukee. So John Wall, they have him listed as questionable. He was icing his ankle. I think he'll be okay. I don't mind John Wall here, but I think his salary is about right if he does play. If he doesn't play, you definitely got to look to a guy like Brad Beal, obviously, would be the direct pivot, as well as probably Satoransky would pick up the start, so he would probably be the chalk if John Wall does get ruled out, but I do think he will play. Kyrie at 8.7, certainly in play for me. I just don't like playing a lot of Boston guys. The matchup's like ideal, and you got Jaylen Brown out. I don't really think that affects Kyrie too much, so I think he's definitely in play. Got Oladipo still questionable again. Looks like it's going to be a game time decision. So, if he gets ruled out, definitely you can consider Tyreek, Collison, and Corey Joseph as pivots there. Let's see, Drew Holiday, 8.3K. Boston has been kind of getting destroyed by scoring guards, scoring wings. So I'm not really afraid too much of the matchup. Anthony Davis they do expect him to play. I don't really think that affects Drew Holiday too much. Maybe even helps him a little bit with some more, lobs, assists, stuff like that. So I definitely still like Drew Holiday today at 8.3. Let's see. Levine at 7.7. Just never a guy I really play a lot. The thing with him is his minutes are secure. Spurs, again, not the best, not the defense team that we have been in the past. But I think I'll be looking elsewhere at Levine today. Donovan Mitchell. He's listed as questionable. Obviously, if he's out again, then I will consider Rubio, probably Joe Ingles, and Jay Crowder as plays. Again, Rubio here. He was kind of low owned last game for some reason. Put up 42 fantasy points. I mean, his salary was kind of up there, but with no Donovan Mitchell, his usage is insane with the offense. So I would like Rubio again with no Donovan Mitchell. Let's see. So Marcus Smart and Terry Rozier, I think will be pretty chalky today. I think Marcus Smart would be more popular with no Jaylen Brown. He should get about 25 minutes. An up-tempo game. Then you got Rozier. He's listed as probable. I think he does play. I think he would play, about 20 minutes. He has been pretty inconsistent, though. So, I think Marcus Smart will be way more chalky than Rozier. So, if you want to play the ownership in GPPs, I think Rozier will definitely be lower owned. Last guy I want to talk about here is DJ Augustine at 3.8K. Just too cheap for a starting point guard, especially going against Golden State. I'm not afraid of Quinn Cook defense at all. And, he has been kind of inconsistent, but I think I'm willing to take a shot at 3.8K. He definitely does have a pretty low floor. But, he does have a ceiling of about 30, 35 fantasy points. So, close to minimum price. I definitely think you can consider him for salary relief there. Move on to shooting guard position. DeRozan, pretty good matchup against Chicago. It's just, these Spurs guys have been so inconsistent. Him, Aldridge. I do think the salary is pretty good here, but I don't think I can go there on this slate. Again, Brad Beal. Even if John Wall plays, I still really like the salary for him. His minutes, he's getting all the minutes he can handle. He's going to shoot the ball a ton. So I really like that salary for Brad Beal at 7.4K. Klay Thompson at 7.3K. He's just been shooting the ball a ton. We saw last year when Steph or Draymond would be out, his usage didn't really change. But this year, he's definitely shooting the ball way more, being way more productive. Again, though, he's got to be scoring the ball to get fantasy points. So that scares me a little bit with him, especially at 7.3K. Again, Joe Ingles. His salary did go up a little bit here, but if Donovan Mitchell is out, I do think you can consider him at 6K. Wiggins, he had probably the worst game of the season. 1 point and 1 assist in 30 minutes. Shot the ball 0 for 12. So I definitely think he'll be low owned. Again, not a guy I really like playing, but there is the revenge narrative against Cleveland. So I do think in GPPs he's worth a look. Jeremy Lamb has been kind of popular here last few games, but with MKG back, I do think that limits him again. And the Hornets secondary pieces, I can't stand. You don't know. The minutes are all over the place for all of them, so just I don't feel comfortable with him today. Let's see. Fournier at 5.3. He had the letdown game against the Lakers. Again, the matchup's pretty good here against Golden State, so I don't mind a bounce back spot for him. Justin Holiday. I think this has been kind of an outlier here the last couple of games. 13 rebounds and 11 rebounds in his past 2 games. I don't think that's going to continue, especially for a shooting guard. I guess he kind of plays a small forward, but he's an undersized small forward. And, he's been shooting the ball pretty good here. 4.8K. I think he might be kind of chalky, but I am not going to be chasing those points. Eric Gordon, again, I will be on him with if Chris Paul's out. If Chris Paul plays, I guess you could give a look to him, but I don't really like playing scoring-dependent guards. Let's see here. Rodney Hood at 4.2K. We got news that David Nwaba's out. So, I think that kind of secures the minutes a little more for Hood. Maybe a floor 30 minutes. But, he's been kind of inconsistent. 4.2K, not a bad play. Again, David Nwaba is out. So that's going to open up some things here for Cleveland. All right, let's move on to small forward. So we got Giannis at the top here at 11.6. Pretty decent matchup here against Charlotte. Let's see. It's the highest over-under of the day at 236. Only a 5-point spread here. So, I think you definitely have to highly consider Giannis today. He's shown some pretty good upside here recently. 70 fantasy points in 2 of the last 3 games. He's basically got a floor of high 40s, low 50s. So I think Giannis is certainly in play. Now KD, I think he's going to be pretty popular at 10.9. Back-to-back really good games here. if Draymond's out again, I think he is certainly in play. And there's some pretty good stars in it, like Harden with no Chris Paul. Then you got Giannis and Durant. There's a lot of good stars on this slate today. So definitely a stars and scrubs approach is viable for sure. Let's see. Mirotic at 6.9. That's not a bad salary, but with Anthony Davis back, I think I will look elsewhere. Jabari Parker has been surprisingly very, very good here the last few games. And his minutes are kind of secure, 40, 39, and 38 the last 3 games. He's shooting the ball very well. He's producing rebounds, getting some assists. So I think he's in play here at 6.3K. Let's see. So we got Otto Porter at 5.7K. I think he will be in play again if Dwight Howard's out. If Dwight Howard is in, then I think I'll be looking elsewhere today with Otto Porter. C.D. Osman, I think he would be more in play here with Noah Nwaba. He saw 42 minutes last 2 games and then kind of got limited to 23. But I think he's still in play with David Nwaba out. Let's see. So Thad Young, I would have interest if Miles Turner and Sabonis are out. If one of those two are out, I think Thad Young is still a good play. If both are out, I think Thad Young's a great play, and then you could look to Kyle O'Quinn. All right, let's move on to power forward. And let's see. Aldridge, again, these Spurs guys, him and DeRozan has been so inconsistent. 39, 55, 22, 42, 59, 23. The matchup's pretty good here against Chicago. I do like targeting bigs against Chicago. I mean, we see what happened last time with Towns against Chicago. He put up a monster game. So I definitely think Aldridge, you can consider him. Let's see, Randall with Anthony Davis back. I don't think I can go there today, especially at 7.6K. He's a guy that I plug and play every single time with no Anthony Davis. With AD back, he definitely takes a big hit. Sabonis, 6.8K. They're saying he's a game time decision. Now, if Miles Turner's out, you guys know how I feel about Sabonis. I go right back to the well and lock in Sabonis if Miles Turner's out. If Miles Turner's in, definitely I think you can look elsewhere at Sabonis, especially close to 7K. But if he's going to pick up the start with no Miles Turner, he's just crazy. If he stays out of foul trouble, he's going to put up 40 fantasy points for you. So I definitely think with no Turner, I'll be going back to Sabonis if he does get ruled out. So Al Horford at 5.4K. I mean, this is just more of a salary thing. I don't like playing a lot of Boston guys, but at 5.4K against New Orleans, they're going to need him to try and guard Anthony Davis. I do think he sees close to 30, 35 minutes or so, and he's just too cheap. It doesn't have huge upside. Again, it's just more of a salary play for cash games. I think it'll be popular. But I think I'll be eating that chalk today with Al Horford. Let's see. We got Saric and Taj Gibson kind of in a timeshare, and they go back and forth with big games here. So both of them are kind of inconsistent. So I don't think cash games for them, but definitely one of those two should have a pretty good game here against the Cavs for GPPs. The whole Golden State bigs, I'm kind of done trying to figure them out. With no Draymond, I mean, it's just a complete mess. Your guess is as good as mine as who's going to have the good game. I thought I could trust Steve Kerr saying Jordan Bell would get more minutes after he saw 21 minutes and they saw 12. And you just don't know. So I'm kind of done trying to figure the Golden State bigs out. I mean, sure, one of them's going to have a good game. I'm just not going to try to predict that. So Jonathan Isaac, again, this is more of a salary thing. His minutes are starting to creep up there a little bit. He does have some upside, but also he's definitely very injury prone. But that's this is more of a salary thing. I think he's in play at 3.5K. So Towns at 10K. I mean, I still do like him. I'm not afraid of Tristan Thompson defense. He does have some pretty good upside as long as he stays out of foul trouble. I think Cat can have another big game. The two centers I really like today are Capella and Vucevic. So Capella has just been playing crazy minutes here. 35, 37, 43. That was in overtime, but 40 minutes in a non-overtime game. They're just playing him insane minutes. If Dwight Howard's out, I think Capella could just go off. I'm not afraid of Thomas Bryant defense. If they try to play small ball with Markieff, Capella should still have his way. So I do really like Capella, even at an elevated salary of 7.9. And then Vucevic, I do love this play. Against Golden State, I'm not afraid of the Warriors. If Draymond's back, then I could maybe look elsewhere because Draymond is a very good defender. But with no Draymond, I think Vucevic should have another big day here at 7.8K. So I do really like him. Gobert at 7.1K. He did have a pretty good game with no Donovan Mitchell. You could definitely look his way again. I don't mind that salary at all. Tristan Thompson, just a guy I never play. I'm sure they're going to need his minutes to play against Cat. So, if you want to go there, I don't mind it. I just never play Tristan Thompson. Wendell Carter Jr., 5.2K. So he's been involved in a lot of foul trouble plus blowouts. But he did see 32 minutes last game. So I think if he can stay out of foul trouble and this game stays close, I do think he still has upside. I do kind of like his salary today at 5.2. Let's see here. Cody Zeller at 4K. I think he's pretty safe for his salary. He should see 25 to 30 minutes. I'm not afraid of Brook Lopez defense. So I think he is certainly in play there for salary relief. Then Thomas Bryant, you could give a look to at 3.4K. If Dwight Howard's out, he could play some pretty good minutes because Capella's a pretty big defender. I don't think Markieff Morris will be able to stay with him. So yeah, I don't think I will be giving my core today in this video because there's too much injury news that we're waiting for. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for the video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, please like the video, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave in the comment section down below. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for some Tuesday NBA.